But I got my first real experience in the commercial web I guess in around early 2000. This is the .com boom when everybody was going crazy. There were parties every night. There was, there was a lot of stuff going on. And they put me into a meeting. There was a large U.S. national nonprofit, and the business person said to the client, "Okay, so let's just talk a little bit about budget. How much do you guys have?" And the client said, "Well, we've secured about $500,000." I, was kind of impressed with that number. At that point, I looked over at the business guy next to me, and he said, "Well, we're not really taking sites under $1 million. So when you think you can secure $1 million, come back to us and we'll talk." So that just gives you a flavor of where things were at in 2000 and 2001 before everything fell apart. My name is Andrew Boardman. I run a company called Manoverboard. I grew up right outside of Philadelphia and moved to New York when I was about 29 years old, and then moved to Winnipeg in about 2005, just a few years ago. We've worked with a real range of clients, from small nonprofits to large corporations. I worked with Barney's New York, Tiffany & Company, Generation Investment Management, which is Al Gore's investment firm, Johnson & Johnson. I've also worked with Council of Canadians with Disabilities, and I did a website for Organza Market here in Winnipeg. I'm a minimalist at heart, and I really think it's important to figure out what a client's message is from the very start, what the product is, what their organization does, what their mission is. So I work very collaboratively to make sure that the message is extremely honed and there's not a lot of extraneous stuff on the site. The other part of the business that I'm very proud of and we're very focused on is accessibility and usability. It takes very little extra effort to make sure that a site is accessible to everybody, and going that extra mile is a big payoff for users and for business or organization. I built my first website in 1996. It was a site called Manoverboard.net. I was a painter at the time. It was a way for me to curate artists who I really loved, to show their work online, which at the time wasn't really something very viable or happening. So after 9/11 happened and then .com kind of crashed, I started my own business, and we built Barney's first website. It was extremely limited at first, like socks and other non-sizable items. It was very small in terms of product number and SKUs. So the site did really well, and I held on to their business and helped them grow it. At this point, Barney's has taken the entire site in-house, but I'm proud of the fact that we got them off the ground and making a lot of money, some of which I wish I had. The sites I've been building are either still around or they've taken on some modifications, but for the most part, all the sites we build continue intact. And so I'm really proud that people don't have to come back to me in 6 months or even in a year and say, this site doesn't work for us, we really need a whole new redesign. My wife is Canadian, I'm American, and after 9/11, we started looking around at other places to live. We love New York, and I love visiting, and I've got friends and family there, but we really felt, especially my wife, really felt like she wanted to come home. Winnipeg, I think, in the past few years has become a place on the map, and especially, like my wife says, compared to living in New York, you could buy a house on a credit card, right? It's extremely affordable for families and for most small businesses. That access to opportunity, I think, is real here and very palpable, and there's a lot of entrepreneurship, a lot of people doing things that are really interesting. I think I said to you earlier, a friend of mine said your dreams can come true here, and I do believe that's true.